thought I'd film this video now because I put a little bit of makeup on for something at work today, and then I'm going out this evening and I forgot the fact that the makeup I put on at like 7 AM this morning is not still going to be there at 4 PM because it's so hot right now. Hi everyone, my name is Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here today. Today's video is going to be the July, God, how is it that far in the year? It's going to be the July round of TBR M.A.S.H, which is my TBR game, which is inspired by the childhood game of M.A.S.H. I'm going to explain the rules in a minute, but first, once again, let me just give you a little bit of a life update, basically to say there have not really been many videos on this channel since last month's TBR M.A.S.H. I've just not really wanted to film, and I'm still kind of settling into living back down in London. I've been going to the theatre a lot. I do want to do a full video where I'm wrapping up everything that I've been to see over the last few months, and I'm going to try and prioritise that in the next couple of weeks. But basically I was keeping up to date with vlogs until like last week, and then just did not really want to vlog and haven't for the last week. Haven't really filmed any sit down videos, but I promise they are coming back. I am going to try and make an actual effort to do it. So I thought what better to do than to actually do TBR M.A.S.H. And last month I did actually do quite well on the books that I picked. I have got 3 of them still left to read, well 2.5, but one of them is a reread that I have the audiobook for. One of them I am reading it currently and I have the audiobook and I'm like halfway through, and then the other one should be a fairly quick, easy like romance read. So I have no worries that I'm going to be able to complete that. I've got 5 days left to complete the TBR. I have got a few plans this week, but also I do have enough time to read, so I'm not taking any punishments at the beginning of this. Hopefully the game's going to be nice to me, but let's actually just explain how the game works. So, like I said, TBR M.A.S.H is my TBR game, which is inspired by the childhood game of M.A.S.H. Usually you would use it to sort of predict how your life's going to go. I use it to dictate my reading life. Each of these cards has a prompt on there. I use a random number generator to work my way around the board, eliminating one prompt each time from each section until there is only one prompt left in each section, and that is the one that I use to pick the book that I'm going to read. There is also then M.A.S.H in the middle. I will actually remember this time because last month I forgot to even explain what M.A.S.H was. In the game it's where you're going to live, and it stands for mansion, apartment, shack, house. In my game it is mansion is a big book, apartment is a small book, shack is a book you've been putting off, and house is comfortable, which is a mood read. I do also have rules to do with extra books that I picked. There are colours on each of these prompts. If the same colour comes up twice, I have to pick an extra one, and if a +1 card comes up, I have to pick an extra one. Those are picked from this section in the middle, which is leftover books that my friends have recommended to me from a TBR round earlier on in the year. It was in March. I think that is pretty much everything you need to know. I feel like I've done a better job of explaining it this month. Last month I was very much all over the place, but I think I've actually given you the lowdown of what you're going to need. Once again, actually let me apologise, it's very echoey in this room, but this is the only place that I can film this because I need a blank wall, and my room does not have many blank walls. So I'm currently in the dining room / my office, and it is a little bit echoey, even though we now do actually have more furniture in here. It's just a very big room, so we need to figure out something to do with it to make it less echoey, but for now it will have to do. There is not too much else to tell you. I have got a mandatory read that I want to get on this TBR. I will try and get it on here. If not, I will add it on as an extra at the end. Generally, I am not having the best reading gear. Like, I'm not doing badly. I'm at like 40 books for the year, but that is behind on where I have been the last couple of years, and I am not necessarily loving as many books as I would like to, and I don't feel like I found a lot of like all-time favourites. Although that being said, in the last like month or so I have read some that I've really loved, and I found that kind of taking the pressure off me a little bit in like how many books I'm reading and just literally reaching for what I'm really in the mood for has helped with that. So I have kind of picked up some ones that I am in the mood to read, and I'm hoping to get some of those on my TBR, and hopefully we will be able to find some ones that I really enjoy, but we will see how it goes. I feel like I was going to say something else. I had something in my head to say and I've completely gone out of my brain, so let's just play the game instead. So every month I use a random number generator to pick how I'm going to work my way around the board. I set my parameters between 5 and 15, so it's not too big, not too small, and this month we have got a number 14. I love when it has the big numbers because it means that it takes ages to pick one prompt, but then very, very quick to pick all the other ones afterwards. So you guys don't need to see me count. I was just starting to say what I was going to say, and I was just starting to like do the bit where I start into the count, and I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say the other thing about this room is that I clearly don't know how to set this up yet because this is way too tall for me. I am making myself look very short in this video. I am very short, but I'm making myself look worse in this video because I've set this a lot higher than I should have done. I'd set the camera up after I set the board up and not realise how ridiculous it was going to look. So just wanted to reference that. I do know it looks weird. I have to keep like stepping closer to the camera so it doesn't look quite so bad. But anyway, you guys don't need to see me count. Let's speed this up. We have got our first prompt. I am just going to reference that these prompts are going to look a little bit different in a minute because I've realised I've not done a thumbnail, so I'm going to put these back up to take the thumbnail and then I'm going to pick the prompt. But I'm not cheating, I promise. I can speed this up so you can see me doing it and know. And you know that there is nothing untoward happening. There we go, I posed for a thumbnail, it's all fine. We had... This video's going a little bit chaotic, but exact same one. I did not cut away at all. See, I'm being truthful. So we ended up with this one. Let's see what the prompt is. And it is animals. Okay, so this can mean many different things. It can mean animal on the cover. It can mean an animal as part of the story. I'm gonna have a look at what I've picked out as my potential reads because nothing is jumping out at me at the minute, but I will go and have a look and I will get back to you shortly. Okay, you're gonna have to hear me out on this one. So, there is a book that I've read a few times, you know, like 5 maybe, who's counting? Anyway, I am going to reread it this month, partly because there is a film adaptation of it coming out at the beginning of August, partly because a group of my friends are wanting to read it as well. I do need to remind them that we said we're gonna everybody read this though. So actually, if you are watching, it was definitely Lisa and Jem, I think it was Andy. I don't know if Meg wants to join in, but anyone of our friends that does want to join in, we were going to reread Red, White and Royal Blue. Now you may say, there is not an animal on this cover, that there is not, but there are animals in this book. There are a few different animals in this book. Henry has a dog, and then also there is a particular scene to do with turkeys, which is like fairly important in their relationship. So I'm going to count this because I'm gonna reread Red, White and Royal Blue this month anyway, so I might as well get it on the TBR, and also nothing else that I like had in my potential stack of books had anything like to do with animals that I was aware of, because I've read this, I know it definitely does have animals in it, so I'm gonna count it. And yeah, we're going to be reading Red, White and Royal Blue by Kate McQuiston. Do I need to give you a synopsis? It's a love story between the first son of the United States, so the son of the president, and then the Prince of the United Kingdom, and they start off as enemies. They clearly don't hate each other, but they start off as enemies, and then some sort of international incident happens where they have to pretend to be friends to sort of smooth over everything in the press, and things lead from there. And I love this book. It's a comfort read for me, and I'm very excited to read it again. And yeah, we're supposed to be doing a body read. I don't think we're doing like set pages per day. I think we're just going to kind of all read it around the same time and discuss. And as I've said to them, I'm like, I will read this pretty much in one day, and I know it quite well by now, so just people tell me what part you're up to and I will give you my opinions. But yeah, very excited to be rereading this one. Time to pick a second prompt, and I won't have to do anything weird with the prompt cards this time. So, second book. I told you the other ones tend to come quick after this. So our second prompt, I should say that first one was yellow, and this one is blue. So our second one is phone a friend. I don't know why I've just put the blue tag in front of there, but it's phone a friend, which means one of my friends has to pick. Now I have a couple of different ways of doing this. I can phone a friend and just ask them to pick me a random book. I can phone a friend and give them options of things. I'm gonna put a message in a group chat and say who is free. I'm gonna give them the option of whether or not they want to pick a particular book, whether they want to pick a prompt for me, however they want to do it. I'm just gonna see who's free and we will go from there. So I'm not actually gonna pick this book right now because obviously I need to see who is actually gonna respond, but I will get back to you momentarily. As soon as someone does respond, we will see who it is. Okay, so message has gone into the group chat. We will wait for someone to respond and I will continue to pick the next prompts. So, prompt number 3. Blue tack is not coming off this wall, you see, it's really stressing me out. So before the next clip, I will be taking some blue tack off of there. But first, let us see what this prompt is. I'm gonna have to pick an extra because I got 2 blues. So this one is ARC, which means it needs to be an advanced reader copy. Let me see what ARCs I have. I feel like I've just been approved for something that I want to read, but I can't remember what it is because I've just read an ARC that I was very excited for. But there are like a few that I've still got my eye on. So I'm gonna have a look through now and see what I have to read at the minute. Okay, so I've had a look through the ARCs that I have, and most of them are books that are already out because I'm very bad at reading the ARCs. The one that I read last week was actually like not out yet. I did really well. This one's been out for a while, but also the sequel's coming out soon, and I haven't got an ARC for that. But I did have an ARC for this, and actually I think it was one where they sent it as like a PDF copy, so you could only actually download it for like a week at a time, and don't even have access to the ARC anymore, but it's still sat there waiting for a review, and I have a physical copy now. So I'm gonna read the physical copy, but you know, the like idea of an ARC is there. That is Foul Lady Fortune by Chloe Gong. This is well, it's not the third book, it's the first book in a new duology, but it features characters from her other duology, which was These Violent Delights, I Violent Ends, is that what it was called? It was, I did it the right way around, well done me. I'm not going to tell you a synopsis of this because like at the end of I Violent Ends, not everyone survives, so if I tell you things of this, it might spoil some of that. But that original duology was a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in like 1920s Shanghai with a magical twist to it. I enjoyed it. There were bits of it that I didn't love, like I gave it like a 4-star. There were parts of it where I was like, oh, I love this, and I just wanted more of that particular part of it, and then parts of it where I was just like, oh, this is just like a little bit like samey to a lot of other YA fantasies. I did really like the romance in it. I felt like the tension and the angst was fantastic. I am looking forward to reading this, but also I don't particularly love the character that it follows, but hopefully I will like them more in this book. So Foul Lady Fortune is what I'm going to read for the ARC prompt. I have also had a reply from a friend. Lisa has very helpfully stepped in to give me a prompt she's given me, so I'll actually just play her voice note while I'm here. Basically, I said to her, completely up to you how you want to do it. If you want to give me a particular book, if you want to give me a prompt, if you would like me to give you books that I am planning on reading and you fit between them. And this is what she has replied. Let me take her off of double speed actually, because I listen to everybody on double speed. And I'm aware that not everybody else does that. So here we go.
Right, okay. So I'm gonna pick a prompt and I'm gonna give you an easy one because I don't know how good or bad your game has been to you this month. So I'm just gonna go with a simple one. Pick a book with a colourful cover.
Which is actually very helpful because there is a book that I want to read this month that does have quite a colourful cover, and I'm just going to go and grab it. So if you watched last month's game, you may have seen that one of the picks from this section that came up was one of Meg's picks, and it was Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I very much enjoyed it, and I would very much like to read more Emily Henry books, and I'm reading them in publication order. So my next one is You and Me on Vacation, or People We Meet on Vacation. I have the UK copy, so it's You and Me on Vacation, but I would say that this is a fairly colourful cover. There is a lot going on here. This one is about, let me read you the synopsis, it's horribly easier. 12 summers ago, Poppy and Alex meet, they hate each other and they are pretty confident they'll never speak again. 11 summers ago, they're forced to share a ride home from college, and by the end of it, a pact is formed, every year one vacation together. 10 summers ago, Alex discovers his fear of flying, Poppy holds his hand the whole way. 7 summers ago, they get far too drunk and narrowly avoid getting matching tattoos in New Orleans. 2 summers ago, it all goes wrong. This summer, Poppy asks Alex to join her on one last trip. Could this trip make them realise they're not just friends after all? I am excited to read this one. Like I said, I very much enjoyed Beach Read. And the one I'm actually most excited to read out of the synopsis I've read is her latest one, Happy Place. But like I said, I want to read them in publication order, even though they're not linked. I just like reading books by authors in publication order, just like to kind of see how their writing style progresses. So maybe I will even read more than this. I will have book lovers to read after, and then, like I said, Happy Place when I get to it. So this one definitely, we'll see if I can fit any more, if not on this TBR, then just sort of into my reading plans for the month. So thank you, Lisa, for that. And I will pick the extra one, but I'll do that at the end. First, we need to pick the last regular prompt. So fingers crossed we have no more like +1s or anything like that. If another of the same colour comes up, we don't pick an extra. It's only the +1 that counts now. So let's see what our last prompt is. So, why do I always jinx it? we've got a +1. So we're gonna have to pick 2 from the middle. It also means that the way that we pick the sort of one to replace the +1 is we take everything that has already been on the board and not picked. Let me take that +1 out though that I can see poking out, because that one is not necessary. I put 2 +1s on the board every single month, so it's always going to be another one. So we're just going to shuffle a little bit. And we're just going to pick a random one from the middle. So we have got subscription box, which means that it has to have come from a subscription box. And I can see in my pile of books, I do always try and bring a couple of subscription box ones down with me, just try and get through the backlist. And there are 2 that I've got my eyes on. But judging by what's already been put on the TBR, I feel like one of them is more similar to that, one of them's a bit different, so I should probably go with one that's a little bit different. So let me just go and grab it. So the book I'm going to read for subscription box pick is A Marvelous Light by M.A.S.H. This is going to shine at the camera because it's got like the plastic overlay. Look how pretty, look how beautiful the sprayed edges are. I have this one, I do have the sequel. I've not read either of them. I really think I'm going to love them. Let me, again, give you the synopsis because I would not be able to tell you what it is. A hidden world, a magical conspiracy, a thrilling romance. Young Baronet Robin Blythe was already in a spot of bother. He's struggling to be a decent older brother and a responsible employer, and to rescue the estate ravaged by his late parents' excesses. Then an administrative mistake appoints him parliamentary liaison to a secret society, and he discovers magic lies beneath the reality he's always known. Soon, Robin must contend with magic's dangers as well as its beauty. But as he tries to find his missing predecessor, he attracts a deadly curse. To navigate these hazards, he'll need the help of Edward Corsair, his prickly magical society counterpart, but his aloof associate clearly wishes Robin were anyone and anywhere else. Drawn together by unexpected perils, Robin and Edwin will discover a mystery as old as the power that binds the land, a plot that frightens every magician in the British Isles, and a secret that some have already died to keep. I could not say a lot of that, so that's going to require a lot of editing. But yeah, I'm very excited about this one. I've heard very good things about it. And like I said, I already have the pretty copy of the second one. I believe the third one is now like available to pre-order, not the Illumicrate copy, but like regular copies. So it might be a good idea for me to have read the first one before I decide if I want to get what I'm sure will be in a matching Illumicrate copy, because I imagine that they will continue with them because they're so beautiful. But yeah, I'm gonna finally be reading A Marvelous Light. I feel like I put this on a TBR before, and it was one of the TBRs that I just wrote off because I was like, I'm not gonna give that pill for punishment this month. Maybe I'll actually read it this month. It's getting very warm in here. Let's hurry up and pick the last couple of prompts. So I need to pick 2 from the extras. With this, I don't eliminate, I just pick right lands. So we're using number 14 again. Let's see how we go. Blue tack is really irritating me. The first one that we have, she's going to be very happy. It is a Meg pick, and it is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I had literally just said to her that I want to get this one on a TBR sooner rather than later because I'm very intrigued by it. I honestly do not know anything about it. I'm not going to give you a synopsis. I'm not going to go and grab it to hold up because I do have a copy of it in the house. I say I have a copy of it in the house. Meg has a copy of it in the house, and I will be borrowing it from her. Heads up, Meg, I will be borrowing this book and reading it next month. And yeah, do not know much about it, but I'm very intrigued, so we'll move on and pick the next book, I suppose. I just kept counting, then I was at like 16 and realised that that was too many. Let's try again. So this one is a Tory pick, and it is One to Watch by Kate Stamen London. The only thing I know about this is I think there's some sort of reality show aspect to it, which is a thing that I have enjoyed in other books. I believe it's got plus size representation in it as well. Other than that, know very little, but I'm going to trust Tori on this one. Out of her picks, it was the one that I was more confident in. I have already read her other pick and I enjoyed it, but it wasn't necessarily my favourite. So we'll see how this one goes. So that is all of my main prompts. Now I need to pick M.A.S.H. So, let's please try not to be mansion. That's all we need to avoid, really, isn't it? Why did I say it? Why? I just so it needs to be a big book, a book over 500 pages. Now, I can see all the books that are in front of me, and I'm pretty sure that none of them are over 500 pages because they're all pretty small. So let me just have a check, because the obligation read that I need to get on here has not been put on here yet. But I'm not sure if it is that long because I don't own it physically. So we're just going to do a bit of investigating. Oh, that's just rude. So the obligation read, I should probably tell you now rather than like wait until after, is Lifelike by J. Christoph, because it's the book in Christopher Long. And I was like, oh, you know what, like most of his books are like 500 plus. No, this one he decides to write a 400-page book. Why? Because you know, why wouldn't you do that? So I still need to find something to read and I have no idea what I want to put on here. Bear with me a few minutes. Okay, you know what, I've decided. I'm not gonna go and grab it because I've run up and downstairs too many times already for this video and I don't want to do it again. But the other day I was thinking, I started a reread of the Poppy War series last year and read the first one and then did not carry on with the other two. And I wasn't sure if I was just gonna like leave it just having read the first one or if I was gonna reread the other two. And thinking about it, because I was like, when I was just then thinking about what I would pick when I said it'd be a few minutes and it's literally been like 2 seconds for you, I was thinking about whether I should pick something new that's over 500 pages, but there wasn't really anything that was particularly like grabbing me about like any of all the books I want to read are smaller, so that wasn't really working. So I thought, well, is there a reread I want to do, because then that'll obviously make it easier anyway. And that was the first one that came into my mind. So I think I'm going to be reading The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, and I do have the audiobooks for these, so it does make it a lot easier. So I think that is it. I think a TBR looks like this, and then with Dragon Republic, why does this not look like enough books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where? Oh yeah, because also then those two. Yeah, this Dragon Republic, One to Watch, and for an essay. That's, yeah, that sounds more accurate. So, you know, like, not the easiest TBR in the world, but also like there's rereads in there. There's like just fun romances, like that shouldn't take me long to read it all. Red, White, and Royal Blue will not take me long to read it all. Dragon Republic is a reread. I can listen to the audiobook while I'm working sometimes. Like, we can figure this out. We've got this. Or at least I'm telling myself I have. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that is everything. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. And I'll see you guys soon with a new video. Bye.